Hey, what's up, everyone? We just finish up posting stuff to social media and I'll get started. Make sure all my links are correct. I think they're fine. Okay. Yeah, so I am still working on the retopo for this guy. I wanted to try to get through all of this before the stream, but didn't get a chance to work on him. So I'm still here doing all of this connecting of points and stuff. But hopefully I can concentrate here and get a lot more finished. This is probably like the hardest part of the whole mesh, because I have all of the broad surfaces covered. It's just connecting everything now, and like all the little nitpicky stuff that I didn't. I don't know. I feel like there's sometimes there's stuff that I kind of avoid during the retopo phase. Stuff that I know is going to be hard, that I subconsciously kind of put off, which is not a good thing to do, but it happens. Like I knew this mouth area was going to be super challenging, so of course that's the area that is like one of the last parts to do. That's okay. We'll get through it. Let's see. Let's see, what do we do with this little bit? Some of it is like, I don't know. I feel like I'm trying to just connect it and find a solution that makes sense. Sometimes that it happens that way, where like you just kind of have to start connecting things, and eventually some sort of solution kind of presents itself. Doesn't happen all the time, but that's one way to kind of get past all of this stuff. This is probably, I'd say this is probably the hardest phase of retopo. It's just because it's like, it's so close, like majority of it is covered. It's just these little bits that need to get resolved, and that's probably where the majority of the time goes, at least for me. It goes into figuring all this stuff out. Let's see. I do think I think this is getting close. I'm really looking forward to what's coming next. It's all the refining stuff, getting it back into ZBrush, getting all the final details onto the mesh. I'll probably take a little bit of a break and do some color studies. That way I know more or less what I'm going for with the skin coloration and patterning. Probably do that before I get into ZBrush, maybe. And then from there, it's the texturing. Probably needs to be some optimization around here somewhere. I think all of these little lines could probably be collapsed in here. Probably does not need that many loops in that little section. But I'd rather have them there for now and then collapse them once I'm sure that I don't need them. Also kind of, I was wondering what I should do with these little spikies on the jaw, because I could take the time to integrate them into the mesh, but I also could just leave them separate. If I integrate them, it would be a little bit crazy because there's so many. And each of them would probably need a loop running through them, at least to get a point near them. And then I could bevel the point and get an extrusion, but that's kind of, I'm weighing my options there. Okay. And this is probably, that's a temporary solution. Yeah, I'm not sure what I could do here. Take another loop down. Maybe. And like terminate it. Let's see. You could take a loop down here and then terminate it in this area, or merge these three down into one here. That might work. just get rid of all of these. Well, these ones I can get rid of. Move these over. I can dissolve this edge here, I think. But then we get this like inverted triangle thing here. Mm-hmm. What to do, what to do. I'm just gonna dissolve these edges. This is not a good poly. I think I'll have to think about it. Dissolve only faces. Probably have to think about that a little bit more. Slide these edges around. I can probably make, if I add a cut here, I could probably connect this guy without too much problem. Well, I'd have to, let's see. This face is redirecting stuff. I want to shift that down here. Just move this over a little bit. Yeah. And then this area here becomes that quad that I was looking at before. Got a notification on my iPad. Okay. These guys here need something too. These like little, I was thinking of them kind of like some sort of sensory pit, kind of like a viper or something. Maybe they're more like sharks have these sensory pits on their noses. They're called the ampullae of Lorenzini. That's what helps them detect. People always say that sharks have a sixth sense. They can detect magnetic fields coming off of animals. That's those little pits on their snout. They don't really look like this. They're not like, honestly, they look just like little dots, like almost like freckles. But that is what helps them sense prey. So maybe that's something. It's something similar, like only like this appears to be more like what we would see on a Viper, but the function of it is more like what we would get in a shark. That's my thinking about it, at least right now. I could probably have this triangle end in a better place if I'm going to have a triangle there. I don't have to keep it in the same spot. I can kind of shift it around. Bridge that so the majority of this can be at least quads. This I'm just going to trace out a little path and see if I can create some sort of connections based on that. I mean, I could do something like this. Let's see. This. Maybe connect that there. Something like that might work. Let's see. I'll try and follow it through. There. This is the front plane here, or like the bottom plane. Just connect these two here. Okay. I just got to close up this box here. Somehow. I could take, I could take this here. Pick up all these. Edges. And then I'd need two more edges here. Let's see. I gotta switch that. Two more edges, and then we can close this up. That really needs to be relaxed. Like this whole area needs to be relaxed. I need to do that soon. Because it's all getting crunched up here. But I think that can work. Let me see. Let me just take a moment to do that then. I need a shrink wrap. I'm going to shrink wrap it to the high poly. Turn the high poly off. I think it still works if it's, even though it's off. Then we'll go to sculpt. And then set the smooth down really low and brush over these areas. It'll try to snap to the surface. Some of this stuff, I don't know. I'm debating whether I should get there's an add-on called Retopo Flow. I've had it in the past, but it has, I know it has a relax sort of function, or like maybe it's like a brush or something, but I don't know. I need to find a better way to do this probably, because this kind of works, but doesn't work as well as I would like it to. Because I do need to go over the whole mesh and just kind of make sure everything's nice and even. Because I feel like certain parts of it are not going to be even. Like certain parts need to be the way they are to capture certain edges, but a lot of other stuff around here could be better. Like this area. I could probably use another loop around there. Does it matter? Let's see. I don't know. It might matter. If the surface underneath is turned on or not. I don't know. Maybe it helps it snap. This all, like the bigger surfaces are pretty easy to like smooth out in this way, so that doesn't really bother me. It's the smaller stuff. It's like all the stuff in the mouth. There's still a lot of stuff going on back here that I need to fix too. Okay, I think that should work. Apply it. Turn the mirror modifier back on. Go back to edit, select all of these edges, make sure that they're... Turn that off. Make sure they're zeroed out on the center. Okay. Let's see what we can do back here behind the ear. This is another area I've been kind of avoiding. I need some thickness here. I can't go as far as I was going there. Like this part here is probably too it's too wide. It's too much of a the surface is stretching too much. Okay. Yeah, that will give it some thickness. Maybe grab 2 at a time. Drag all this stuff down here. Why is it doing that? Oh, it's because I don't have my snapping on. There we go. Turn this back to face project. Okay. Probably, will that cause me an issue? Maybe not. I might need to handle this little area differently. Let's see. I'll turn, do another loop here. Rafi, your work is fascinating, truly an inspiration. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for stopping by and checking out the stream. Yeah, I've always, I mean, I've talked about it a little bit, but I've really liked this design. So I'm glad I'm getting a chance to, I'm giving myself time to work on it and finish it up. I mean, I don't know. I think a part of it will probably never be finished, I guess, because there's so much that I could do with it, and I have to decide like where the end point is, Um, but yeah, I'm glad I decided to work on it more. Let's see. I think it's hard to say because this structure, like I was thinking like maybe I could just mirror the structure that I did here on the bottom, but it would be kind of wasteful because the bottom is much simpler than what's going on above it. So if I just duplicate that structure down here, there's kind of no point to that. I think I'd be using some loops that were kind of unnecessary. So I don't know. I think maybe I am kind of tempted. Maybe between now and next stream, I might check out Retopo Flow. Try it again. I mean, it doesn't hurt, I suppose. It's not the most expensive thing out there. Let me see. Let me actually take a look at. It's on Superhive, which is the new. It's like the rebranded Blender marketplace. Okay, so it's like 85 bucks, which is nothing. There's a little bit of money here. I gotta watch some reviews or something. I gotta see if it's worth it, but maybe some of you, if you're watching this, if you recommend it or not, feel free to mention what you like about it or not. Like I said, I've used it in the past, but that was like a while ago. Like maybe it was like version 2. Now they're on version 4 right now. So now I got to figure out how I'm going to connect these two surfaces here. Because this is, so this part of the mesh is where I made a cut in ZBrush. So this mesh, I wonder if it still preserves it. Yeah, this is separate. So this piece of the mesh is totally separate from the head. Maybe I should actually separate it. I'm not trying to parent anything. What is it doing? What am I trying to do? I'm trying to separate them. I gotta look at the, I can't believe I'm blanking on this keyboard shortcut. I use it all the time. Oh, it's just, I was hitting Control P and it's just P. Hit P, split selection. So now it's a separate part. So now if this is, I turn that off. It might be a little bit easier to see what's going on in here. But I'm basically, I want to trace this edge, right? Like this edge of Geo. I kind of want to trace that edge almost like if it's an imaginary seam line. So I'm trying to do that. Because eventually it will probably become an actual seam line. Like when I UV this, I would like a nice clean island here behind, like UV island stopping here along this edge. That's going to be a nasty. I really don't want a spiral happening there. This, yeah, this is, let's see what we can do here. I have to direct this loop a different way. These two actually are what need to connect. So I'm just going to do that. Even though it looks super bad right now. I need to make sure that I am telling myself like where these loops actually move around the mesh, so that way I'm not creating, well, that's not good either. It's because of this little thing though. It's diverting the flow. It should have gone across. So I wonder, how can I deal with this? I don't think it's a big deal. It's a little inconvenient because it's right here, but I don't think I'll need extra loops there. If I needed to like throw a bunch of extra loops in that area, I think it would probably be a much bigger issue, but I don't think I will need to. So I can probably do something like this. Last. And I could probably just carry these lines across the whole mesh, like across this back face, I think. Let's see. Yeah, this little area here might be kind of awkward. If I delete this edge. Yeah, that works. It's a little bit large, like the surface area is a little bit big. But I can maybe add some other stuff in there later. Let me get rid of these. So these two can probably go across. Yeah, I was thinking about it much more complicated than it probably needed to be. Because yeah, ideally I would just want these to wrap around, like this row of polys just wrap around, come back here, and then terminate somewhere along this edge. I don't know where, but somewhere along that edge. This area here is probably where I'm going to need to merge some stuff. Or I could just end it in a triangle there. I have a lot of triangles in this mesh. A lot more than I would like to have. I can do this though. Let's see. I can add a loop here. Actually, can I? Let's see. That loop's solid. Why is this happening? This loop, this works. This, oh, that works. This is a solid loop. This, I think I'm missing something super obvious here. something super obvious. I'm not seeing it, but I probably could have done this a different way, but I'm just going to do it this way because it's the solution that is most clear to me right now. Keep on getting messages on this. Oh, okay. Okay, okay. Now I think I can connect these and that won't make a nasty spiral. Well, I can connect this top surface at least. I should be able to add loops here without it screwing up though. Yeah. Okay. Let's extrude. I'm trying to think of ways to work smarter, not harder, even though I'm probably working pretty hard right now. But I'll just extrude this whole piece and then connect these two edges. Do it that way. Trying to make these align fairly well. And then extrude that one up. Connect these. Okay. This will be fine, but this part is not great. What can I do here? Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to reconsider how this guy splits off. The this fork. Strange fork structure. Probably have to delete all of these faces here. Figure out a different way to go about it. This is a nasty face anyway. Too stretched. So it's probably for the best that I do a little bit of an adjustment here because these were very stretched out. Probably not the best structure anyway. This could probably work. This here. We have a lot more faces on the back than we do on the front, though. Maybe not a lot, maybe. Let's see. We have 2 here, but this has 1, 2, 3 that I could potentially connect up there. So I'd probably... could add a loop to this, which is already... How many sides does this have? 1, 2, 3... 1, 2, 3. I think it's a hexagonal shape, a hexagon. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. The hex is pretty good for a tube like this. I'd want to be careful if I add more. I could probably go from hexagonal to like an octagon. Not be too... have it not be too horrible. But where's this going though? It goes all the way to this edge here. Why can't I select that? There we go. Go up this way. Base project. Could do something like that. It's a reduction from 3 to 1. But I did do that here too. Well, kind of, sort of. I think this does need a loop here going down the middle. Switch this back to loop going down the middle. So sometimes what helps me, because I usually, like I was mentioning maybe a couple times before, I don't usually retopo like this. I retopo. It's more like a box modeling method than like just going in vert by vert and like tracing edges. That like I think a lot of people do that as well. Normally I would just start by putting a box in here and just kind of extruding everything that I need. And I like that method because it tends to resolve itself. Like you'll have little issues here and there, but for the majority of it, you know, it'll tend to resolve its own shapes, its own edges. So sometimes when I'm working on stuff like this, I try to imagine, like, this is not the way that I went about it this time. I'm not sure why. I feel like it's working out okay, but maybe in retrospect I should have just stuck to what I was used to. But anyway, we already have a good chunk of this already started, so I think it would be counterproductive to go back. But sometimes when I'm going through all this stuff, sometimes it helps to imagine like the box method. I think I have my pen here. That's a note from before, but where's my pen? Where is my pen? Sorry, I have to like end the process and then I can restart it. End task. I can restart the pen. Get this thing over here. So what I was saying is sometimes it's easier for me to imagine the box. So what would have happened is I would have had a box like this, like representing this form of this ear or whatever it is. And then what I would have done is, so if you imagine this is the geo, I would probably have just made a cut here to give me another set of polys, and then this one would have been extruded out like this, right? And then this would be extruded here to create this sort of forked thing. And then you can, what's good about this is I would then be able to come in and add as many loops as I wanted to all these, to both of these cylinders, basically, and then none of them would interact with each other. Like I could add as many loops as I wanted here and as many as I wanted here, and I wouldn't have to deal with anything crisscrossing or anything like that. So that's basically what I'm imagining, is like, what would this look like if I had broken it down into that very basic method, and then what would the geo look like had I done that. So that's where I'm getting this sort of area here. That's what I'm trying to do anyway. It's what makes sense in my brain right now. Okay, but I gotta make sure. Okay, that works. It's not. I was worried that it was gonna be some sort of nasty spiral. But now I have to figure out where this is going because I need another edge here to. Yeah, see, that is not good. Who knows where that goes? Yep, that's not great. Where can I take that? It's diverting. It's this poly here. Okay. That looks okay, I think. But now it's what? It's kind of like, you see how the problem moves? Like, figure out something over here, causes something over here. Got to figure this out. And hopefully this doesn't cause some other issue somewhere else. Let's see. This could use, like, honestly, this could use like another loop here. For the, maybe, or maybe not. I don't know. I'm looking at this edge here. Trying to consider if it looks too polygonal. Okay, I think I'm gonna, I worked around that area. I got some stuff resolved. This is one of those times where I'm like, maybe I should just, sometimes it helps to jump around and figure out another part. Because you could really like drive yourself crazy just focus, like really focusing on one part, you know. As much as I want to resolve that and, like, you know, just have it done and move on, I don't know. Sometimes it's better just to do something else and then come back to it. Sometimes the solution presents itself after a little bit of a break. this can probably be... This probably needs another loop. I could probably cut through here real quick. Hold on, row. 1 second. I need to get this back up here. Let me get a knife. Cut through here. I have no idea where this is going to go. Where can I take this? Probably will end up, I won't commit to that right now. It'll probably end up, if I do cut here, it will end up down the tail somewhere. I probably will merge some of these together somehow. So it could potentially be okay. I don't know. We'll start it out and we'll see how it goes. This is probably better. Maybe. So much of this is, I don't know. It's like I'm trying to apply what I know of like retopoing, like all the dinosaur stuff that I do and all that. I've retopoed like one other mesh that was probably more complex than this. But again, like that only helps so much because this is the first time I've ever retopoed this thing. Like this shape has never been, you know, retopoed by me before, so I'm making some of this up as I go. Like with dinosaurs, there's certain things that you can kind of reuse. Certain ways of like dealing with the edge loops that you can, like patterns that arise that you can kind of use again later. But yeah, this guy is nothing I've ever done before, so it's kind of, can be kind of hard trying to figure out what I'm going to do with all this. Could probably do that and then cut another loop here, right here, which would go, I think that would work. There's nothing for it to like finish, like to flow into at the moment because I haven't finished this whole little section, but this part of the I'm calling it like the ear, even though it's not an ear, would eventually be merged together. Like this would be part of the neck. So I think that'll work. Just slide these down. Okay. Yeah, this little part here is going to be interesting. It's like, this is what my plan is this. I would like to have a nice edge running along this whole crease here, basically. Maybe even down in here, or maybe even like around here too. If I were to mark this as a mark it as a seam, probably even go like this. Mark it as a seam. So that whole thing there ideally would be able to be separated off as a UV, or maybe going around like this. I don't know if I want this part. It'd be nice, I suppose, if I could do that, because this was part of the original concept was based off of a lot of the abyssal fish, like viper fish. I was looking a lot at their jaw anatomy, and the crazy thing about those guys is they have additional hinges in their jaw to get a wider sort of gape. And there's like different ligaments here to help them open their mouths as well. So there's a hinge here that actually lets them pop their skull further back, like further this way. And then of course they have the hinge of the jaw that swings back and down. But there's little like ligaments and things attaching to bones in the neck that actually give it some structure, and that's what these little indications were supposed to be. It's probably some sort of little, like almost like a hyoid bone or something in here that would be supported by muscle and ligaments that would allow it to open further, or like just help it keep its shape while it's opened. So it'd be nice to try and support that with some geo or like some sort of structure here, but that's where this little line comes from. This line here, it's supposed to be like the edge of a bone. But yeah, I don't know if I can't talk right now. If I can get it to work, I will definitely try, because it's really nice to have those UV islands, you know, nice and laid out along edges that kind of makes sense. That's a nice way to hide, because with like Substance Painter, I don't usually get like issues of like seams actually popping up and being like super ugly or noticeable. So I'm not super worried, but in the event that, like, if that did happen, like if there was a seam that I just couldn't get rid of, it'd be nice to hide it, you know? Like keeping the seams in these little tucked away areas is nice to do, just in case something does like show it's not super noticeable. Although the goal is to not have anything like that happen, but Hey, Gene, how's it going? Not going to lie, topology is one of the reasons I didn't keep sculpting. Yeah, it can be rough. This thing is just really different from anything else I've retopoed in a long time, so yeah, it's like the first part of it was going pretty well, I thought. Maybe I jinxed myself. Like just making the shapes, the technical part of it's too boring. I'd say for me, I wouldn't say it's boring. I would say that it's like it feels like I'm doing a puzzle or something, or like some sort of math problem. That's kind of what it feels like. Like to me, like math is fun when I'm actually understanding what I'm doing, you know, like when I'm able to actually solve the problems, like math was fun. But it gets super frustrating when you just don't know how to deal with the formula, or whatever it is. That's kind of the similar feeling that I get from it. It's like visual math, I guess. Like it's super satisfying when it's like resolving itself and like everything's flowing together, like your edges are where they need to be and all that stuff. But like other stuff, like like this little piece right here that just sticks around and you don't know how to resolve it nicely, that kind of stuff can get to you, or gets to me at least. And there's always like in every mesh, there's always a little area like that, I think. There's some parts that just kind of go together really well, and then some parts that just kind of stick around and like give you a hard time. Yeah, it takes patience. If you could, would you outsource topo and other technical stuff to other people? If I could, would I do that? I think ultimately, probably not. I don't think so. Like I've considered it. There was actually one person who I knew of that just did topo, like retopo. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I need to maybe it's just like a quality control thing. I don't know. I feel like there might be like very specific things that I would like the topo to do. Like this sort of thing, I don't know if I would send it out to anybody. It's kind of hard to say, I guess. Like I don't mind it. It's I wouldn't say it's my favorite thing to do ever, but I don't mind retopology. Maybe if it was more of an annoyance, maybe I would consider doing that, but for me it's not too bad. Yeah, I think that's it. What it is like knowing where everything is, like how the mesh is built, and like I think that's part of it for me. Maybe, you know, who knows? Maybe like 5 years from now or something, I'll be totally over it and like not even I wouldn't even be worried about it. And be totally fine with letting somebody do that. But for right now, I'm happy doing my own retopo. I still think I have a good amount to learn about it as well. So I feel like it's still like a valuable learning opportunity, I guess. This mesh is actually pretty tame too compared to some of the stuff I've seen in some video. Like I have some meshes from Monster Hunter World, and some of those meshes are ridiculous. Like they are way more complicated than what I have here. Like and all of it, a good chunk of their meshes are like all integrated. It's like those monsters have like a ton of spikes and, you know, teeth and lots of stuff going on. But a lot of those spikes are actually like part of the mesh. It's like they're retopoed into the mesh as one piece, which is crazy. Like I don't know how the artists behind that game, like those guys have real patience. I don't think I have real patience. No, they have way more patience than I do. Like the closest thing that I've ever come to probably something like that complexity is I did a base mesh for It was the Spicomelis model that I did for Beast of the Mesozoic. I did a base mesh for that, and a majority of the spikes were integrated into the mesh. They were not separate. I don't know why I did that, because I ended up separating them later anyway, so it's kind of a waste. But that base mesh did have them all integrated. The Ankys, the Ankylosaurids are pretty crazy looking for retopology, I think. Oh, this will actually work out pretty well as... Well, I have to get this to go down the center and go down here, but I think that'll work that'll work out really well. Let's see. I can select this, go down this way. Let's make sure that... There we go, and then delete that edge. Yeah, that works. Cool. And where did this end up going? It goes down the midline here, that actually helps me. It terminates right here. Okay. That's actually not too bad, yeah. That worked out. Okay. I might just I could just draw this out. Sometimes I do this too, is like I'll just draw out exactly where I want this line to be. Because I know I want this edge. I want that edge because I want it to have a clean... I want it to support the anatomy, but I also want a clean seam line. And then I can kind of figure out from here where things need to let's see. Like this could maybe be a quad. This could maybe turn into a quad. And then this would be a quad. Something like that could work. I think. We'll go ahead and do that. Just if it ends up not working later, I'll figure it out. Oh man, I just drew that and I completely forgot what the heck I did. Okay. Here. Okay. So we went like this, and then there's a triangle right here, but I can just extrude this out and then rebuild it. What are you up to this evening, Gene? Are you ahead of me in time zone? Or are we the same time zone? Oh, here's another little triangle here. Yeah, that actually worked out a little bit better than I thought. Oh, there's this triangle here that's annoying, but we'll figure that out later. And then there's like, so a lot of these, I can probably figure out ways to reduce them to match the number of edges that are going on over here, or I could just continue them down the body if I needed to, and then figure out where they terminate. Let's see, like we can test some of these out. This goes all the way down here. I don't know about that one. These could maybe shift upwards. And let's see. If I delete these faces, I could maybe make a new one here. This face, I mean, this edge here, we might be able to go down this way and maybe somehow interact with this triangle, maybe get rid of it. Or I could just go here or here. Maybe I could merge these somehow. Let's see. That's probably a better loop there. So I am looking at this as one loop. Then we can slide this down. This edge could probably delete or dissolve. Yeah. If I try to add a loop here, okay. So this could be its own. There could be a loop here. I don't know if this like makes things better. It makes things a little bit cleaner there, I guess. Because I don't have that nasty spiral in case I do need to add more edges there, which I actually might have to. It's like its own little enclosed thing there now, which is good. What do we do here? Oh, now I can connect this though. Okay. Maybe instead of trying to run a line down here, I could try it here instead. See what that does. That actually might work. Maybe. Depends on if I want to keep this shape here. But it does just flow into the mouth and then it ends here, which is fairly... Once I space these out better, that might be fine. But why am I doing that again? Because I could get rid of these. This would pop out here. And these two would join. These two join. Yeah, that's what I was going for, I suppose. Oh, okay. Since it's connecting here, it automatically, like, we don't get that nasty. It wasn't too bad, but we don't get that additional edge in there because it's just gonna flow right where it needs to be, pretty much. The only part that's a little bit, I don't think it's too bad, maybe. This little area here, there's a lot going on right here. It's because, let me delete those. Those are useless. It's just because there's like, it's a six-limbed creature, right? So, so here it's got 4 of its limbs. It's got another 4 here, so there's a lot of converging shapes that we would normally not have to deal with in an animal. What's happened here? Something got nasty. What happened? I must have grabbed them by accident, maybe. Ooh, there's like extra ones in there. Are you gonna... Fine. Sometimes it merges together, sometimes it doesn't. Just clean that part up. I'm gonna have to do a good cleanup pass in all this anyway. I'm sure there's probably like vertices that are stacked up on top of each other that I'm not seeing, or like edges that are stacked up on top of each other I'm not seeing. It's pretty easy to do cleanup passes like that in here. Like, you can just go, I could probably do some here really quick. Clean up, we delete any loose parts. Doesn't look like there's any loose parts. We can merge by distance. Delete loose, decimate, limited, merge by distance. So that merges any vertices that are like right next to each other or stacked up on top. It doesn't look like I had any, which was a surprise. But that's good, I guess. So I'm actually pretty surprised that this worked out here. I wasn't anticipating like actually getting that resolved tonight. I thought I would probably take longer to do that. Now we probably need another loop going down the back like this. Which could be useful, or it could just be pretty redundant. I could always reduce it down somewhere earlier here somehow. We'll try it. We'll try and keep it. If I need to reduce it later on down there near the tail, I can do that. Oh no, what is going on there? Is that what I wanted? Did I want that to merge there? Probably not. Oh no. Okay. That's where it was, I think. I hope. That's not the nicest thing there, though. What happened? I wonder if I... Nah, if I undo too much, I'm gonna screw up a lot of the stuff that I already resolved. It might have been a merge, one of the merge my distance things that I did. Kind of screwed this up, which is great. Or maybe I had it that way the whole time and I just didn't notice how screwed up it was. Try to rebuild this little area real quick. What happened? I thought I had this all nice and resolved, but maybe not. Maybe I still need one loop. Well, this is a triangle. So I could do something like this. And then just, what am I doing here? I could just merge that together. Or I could make some room here. Do another cut. It's a good thing this isn't a game mesh, I think. If this was a game mesh, I would probably have a really tough time getting this down in poly count, maybe. Oh, that doesn't solve my issue, though. This random triangle there. I wonder what happened. I felt like I had it fairly resolved, and then I noticed that little... I think they call them poles. So where it looks like basically like a wheel, just a bunch of spokes popping out of it. Those are usually something to avoid, I think, depending on where they're placed. But maybe I deleted it and like... Yeah, this is not good. I can't do that. Have to think about it, I think. Let's see if we can figure out something here. I don't know if that helps at all. Let's go here. What I'm trying to figure out is see if I can get like this edge to be respected just a little bit more. Like I got this in here, but maybe something like that. Maybe I can resolve some of these in here better. Because I could turn this into a quad. Go here. That's just kind of shifting. It's shifting this triangle forward, basically, is what that's doing. Maybe there's a point somewhere around here where I can get it to be in a good spot to Don't know. Figure it out. We'll figure it out later, I suppose. Let's see if there's a different spot I can poke around in. Maybe somewhere down here. This area, I try to imagine that box. I would have extruded it out like that. There would be a midline. There would be a mid down here. I think this would probably go out like this somewhere. I think if I'm identifying, let's see, I'm trying to figure out where my, sometimes it helps to figure out where the corners of that box are. They would, this is my top line, this is my center line. So the box corners, I think would be here and here. So I think I would need this area doesn't look super great. It's getting pretty stretched, and I'm wondering if I can get maybe this this line can continue further a little bit. Yeah, I feel like a lot can be done in this area just to clean it up a little bit because it's kind of chaotic. I need to concentrate here at some point. I have the loop that I want around this rib area, but the polys don't work the way I would like them to. Oh, man. Okay. I didn't realize the time. I gotta save this out. Yeah, I'm a little bit over time, a couple minutes. I think that's probably where I have to stop. I feel like I'm really close. I'm wondering, I don't want to open my mouth too soon and say that I can get this done before next stream, but I'm gonna try. It's literally like, it's a little bit frustrating because it's so close. Let's see. Let me turn off edit mode. It's like mostly there. It's just like there's little holes. There's little holes and little parts. You know. So if I can get those closed up and I can get the topology nice and cleaned, I should have a new mesh. Maybe if I can find a couple hours during the week to mess around with it, I can do it. But anyway, thanks everyone who stopped in to take a look at the stream today. Everyone who's commented, thank you very much. Yeah, I'll be on again on Monday. So thanks. Have a good week, everyone. See you later.